Welcome to the Offshore Club's fun-filled, fact-filled, fast-paced, blockbuster podcast, Coffee with Carib Carter, coming to you exclusively from where the sun never sets on the good life at a great price. And now, fill up your favorite coffee mug and join your expert and your guide, Carib Carter Clues.
Hello, and welcome to the fourth edition of Coffee with Carib Carter. Welcome all what I'm going to call you now, my Carib Carter cadre. And just to show you how serious I'm about it and how committed I am to you, I'm going to make a special offer right now. Let me take a cup of let's do this thing, coffee here, drink. Here's a special offer. I'm going to do a random drawing, okay? I've got some Carib Carter cadre coffee from Honduras, okay? This coffee is so delicious, it puts Maxwell House and Folgers and everybody else to shame, okay? It's good beyond the last drop. Sweet, it is like a lot of Honduran coffee, it is just it's from almost sweet soil. And it does not have that bitter, acidic taste or bitter aftertaste. It goes down very smooth. So here's what I've done. I've ordered our own Carib Carter cadre coffee, Honduran coffee, and I'm going to write to me an email. I don't care what you say. You may want to say drop dead, whatever you want to say is fine. And I am going to pick at random one of the emails you send me, and I'm going to say, so make sure one thing you do have to do is include your address. And I'm going to send you a free bag of sweet, delicious Carib Carter cadre coffee. Deal? All you got to do, send the email, make sure to include your address. I'm going to choose one at random every week and send out this coffee. And then when we have our coffee together, here we go. Let me get it right. There we go. When we do this thing together, we'll be drinking the same great coffee from Honduras. Okay. And then one day we'll drink it there together. Deal? All right. Thank you for joining me. I think we have an exciting show coming up. I'm not going to go through, as everybody who regular viewers know by now, we divide into segments. We have a day in the life where I tell you what happened to me when I was living in Honduras, and what probably happened to you. And we have Mad Max. We have the top frequently asked question. 7 different segments. And most of you regular viewers, you know them by now. I hope you enjoy them. And you new viewers, you'll see them as they come up because I announce each one in advance. Okay. So, all right, let's do this thing. Let's start with the day in the life. I told you about my gecko experience, the attack of the geckos. I told you about my chicken bus, being on the chicken bus, which all of you one day will be riding and you'll enjoy. Let me talk to you about tamales. Now, all of us gringos have heard of tamales, okay? But I got to be honest with you, I had never eaten a tamale, okay? I had never eaten a tamale until I get to Honduras. And so one day, I'm walking down the street. It was Calle Paralejo, okay, which is near the El País, which is the big supermarket in La Ceiba, okay? I think it's owned by Walmart. I'm not sure because it's a lot like Walmart. Very nice, only the fruit and vegetables are fresher and that kind of thing. So I'm walking along, and here on a roadside cart, there are a lot of roadside carts because you're allowed to have your own little business in Honduras without government crushing you with regulations and licenses and and taxes and everything else. Your own little business, have a little business. Come on. It's the way it used to be here in this country, right? Remember? Okay, so little tamale cart, all right? And I said to the guy, how much is it? And I think it was 2 tamales, I think was a quarter or some such thing, right? And they're good size tamales. Okay. Remember, I'd never eaten a tamale. So I get them. I look at it. Smells great. They're made of, those of you who like me had never eaten them, they're made of meats, cheeses, vegetables, all mixed in together. And so I just bite right into it. Okay. I just bite right into it. And it is delicious. But it's a little tough. Right? And I'm chewing and chewing. and the vendor, Jose, Juan, whatever his name was, is just kind of looking at me. He keeps just looking like, this is one crazy gringo, right? He keeps looking. Finally, I felt like I've been chewing for like half an hour, and he says to me, Senor, en Honduras, normalmente nosotros y no comemos la hoja de maíz. And I realized what he was telling me was, in Honduras, we normally don't eat the corn husk, in which they cook the tamale, and in which they hand it to you. You're supposed to unwrap the corn husk, and then it's dough, it's a tortilla or whatever wrapped around it, very soft. I had no idea. And he's looking at me like, this guy is absolutely the craziest. He is the most tonto gringo ever in Honduras. He said, senor, no comemos, the husk. And so I removed the husk. I tried to save face, not act too embarrassed, like, this way we eat them in America. No, I just said, oh. And then it was fantastic. It was fantastic when you get there. So when you get there, because I want you to make the move, remember, take the corn husk off the tamale, right? And then I absolutely guarantee you are going to love it. And I ate a lot of them after that, and found them in my local neighborhood and everything. So that's it. That's our day in the life. Sometimes when I talk about the day in the life, the typical day, reminded my favorite music was years ago, A Typical Day in Dogpatch, USA, Little Abner. The typical day where we sit around swapping lies in the typical way, doing things in the typical way. So that's what that was a typical day for me in Honduras. When you get to your Central American country, Honduras, Guatemala, El Salvador, wherever, you'll probably be a little smarter. Okay, so that is a day in the life. So let's then talk about frequently asked questions. We do this every week. We've covered healthcare. I think did we cover safety? I'm not sure. If not, we'll get to it. But one of the questions I'm asking, and it's going to be politically incorrect. Okay, so brace yourself. If there are any little millennial snowflakes in the room, you need to leave, because I don't want you to melt. Okay, but the fact of the matter is, it is a question I'm asking, and not by mean-spirited people, by people who really want to know. And they say to me, hey, Carter, how clean is it in a Central American country? I mean, is it dirty? Because the image created up here sometime, I don't know where this comes from, but let me tell you, it's not dirty. As a matter of fact, I'm going to say something to you that you're going to say, come on, you kidding me? It's very much immaculate, okay? It's immaculate. If you think about it, I want you to do this. Do yourself a favor. Then you'll realize, hey, this Carter's real. Go to a Latino, if you are lucky enough to have a Latino neighborhood near you, thank God in heaven, York becomes more and more Latino all the time. Go to a Latino neighborhood to you, and you're going to find, even if it was a neighborhood who before the Latinos moved in was disgusting and filthy, all of a sudden it's very much cleaner. Okay, let me tell you what it was like. First of all, the little town I lived in, El Pino, these people lived in little, usually cement, okay, cement concrete blocks with whatever they put over them. One room, and a little side space for a bedroom. The kitchen was usually outside, because remember, in Honduras, it's summer spring all year round. But they were tiny. And you know what? They were immaculate. They clean them and clean them and clean them. It's one thing about Hondurans, Latinos, you're going to find is, just because a place is small, or just because they're renting, doesn't mean they felt like, well, it's not mine, I'm not taking care of it. No, they felt, this is mine, I'm taking care of it. Let me tell you a little secret. My wife, who, as you know, is Angelita, so you've met her on Coffee with Carib Carter, the Honduran, she mops the kitchen floor every night. I said, Princess, the kitchen floor is not that dirty, every night. And then about 2 or 3 times a week, more sometimes, she goes out and mops the porch, okay? it's part, and she would say to me, and more, it's part of my culture. Okay. So far from being dirty, you're going to be stunned at how clean it is. I told you about Opino, the little tiny town I lived in. It could not have been more than 200 people. But remember, every day I told you I went to La Ceiba, or I went to Tegucigalpa, the capital, 1.5 million, whatever people, or San Pedro Sula, about 800,000 people. The streets were clean. The streets were clean. The only trash was, and this goes back to the confound politicians, and politicians are the same everywhere, folks. The only trash was around the trash cans, the trash containers on the street, like on the corners, because the politicians wouldn't hold up their end of the bargain. Sound familiar? Sound familiar? And they wouldn't pick up the trash when they were supposed to. So you did have trash around the trash cans, you know. But other than that, there's, when you drive down the road, there's signs everywhere. I think it said, let me see if I get this right. You know, my Spanish is terrible. No botar la basura. Okay? Don't throw trash. Don't throw trash. Okay? So there you have it. It's a these are very clean cultures. These are very clean cultures. As a matter of fact, let me share something with you. I'll tell you when I knew, I suspected it, but when I knew that the whole caravan thing that Obama allowed, I'll tell you, and now Biden's allowing again, I'll tell you when I knew this is not what it appears to be. This is sponsored by somebody. George Soros, probably. Unfortunately, some of these big left-wing liberal churches, yeah. I'll tell you when I knew that it was being sponsored, when I saw these thousands and thousands, tens of thousands of people coming north. And I said to my wife, somebody is providing water trucks and bathing facilities, because Hondurans, Latinos will not go unbathed. Okay? And sure enough, think back at what you saw, folks. Every once in a while, the mainstream media, which tried to cover it up, would make a mistake and show the big water trucks. Okay? The big water trucks. So that's when I knew this whole thing is contrived. This whole illegal alien invasion is contrived. Okay? So it goes back. Let's get back to the point. The cleanliness. The cleanliness. The restaurants are immaculate. I would go to the supermarkets, you know, some of the meat markets and all. Very clean, very immaculate. So I tell you all this. That's frequently I get that question. Is it dirty? God, is it dirty? Because you can't drink the water. No, you can't drink the water. Do not drink ice cubes in the water. Okay? That's something, you know, that's something they have to address. You're gonna ask me why. I don't know. I'm not a water expert. But I do, come on, how many of you drink the water out of your tap now anyway? You know, they drink in bottles down there, just like almost up here now. So it's bottled water. So don't worry about that part of it. But other than that, I think you're going to be very pleased. You're going to be very pleased with the sanitary conditions. Okay. So that's it. Bam, done. That's the frequently asked question. A little politically incorrect, perhaps, but now you know. Now you know. First-hand experience. That's where we are. And that brings me, matter of fact, I wrote down here, and I'm going to say it to you. Check out, go on YouTube and type in, to show you what the streets look like in most Central American towns, type in Jinotega, my Spanish is terrible. Can you believe I'm married to a Honduran? I lived there all years. Jinotega, Jinotega, Nicaragua. I don't know how to spell for you. Jinotega, Nicaragua. And there's the third video down when I looked, and probably still the same, is by Jasper, Jasper. And he's just taking on a tour of this town. Beautiful town, by the way. I'm thinking of buying a home there. I found a good price, so we'll see. Look at the streets. He's not talking to you about whether there's trash in the streets. He knows there's not trash, but he's showing you his town. He's very proud of it. And look at the streets. You can eat off of them. Okay, so that's where we are. All right, so that's the frequently asked question, and that's the rarely given answer. Okay, but it's from the heart to the heart. Okay, that's the way it is. To my Carib Carter cadre. And that brings me to the Mad Max report. Those of you who are new, Mad Max Reports says, I'm telling you, most of the show is happy. I'm telling you why you make the move, the great things you're going to find. Mad Max Reports has a little bit about why you should leave the U.S., okay? You know, let me back up a second, because I got another email from somebody, a person I just love, you know, one of the cadre, one of your fellow cadre members saying, Carter, you know, tell me again why you don't move back yet. And so I want to make that clear. I posted on Carib Carter Facebook, and please follow me there if you get a chance. But my wife needs to get her U.S. citizen. The reason that people say, well, if you like it so much there, what are you here for? Because my wife needs to get her U.S. citizenship. I want to give her the opportunity for the best of both worlds. The best of this world, thanks to the COVID hoax, is not very best anymore, is it? It's not very best not to be free in a country that was once the most wonderful free place. But that's life. But I still want her to have her U.S. citizenship. She's working on it. She's doing a wonderful job, studies all the time. And that's one reason. And the other is, let me just be honest with you. Being a gringo in Honduras is very, very nice, okay? Fraction of the cost of living. A lot of respect for gringos down there because of what we did with this country, how great we made America before the hoax. What they do, but for a gringo, small cost of living, great lifestyle. But I wouldn't want to be a Honduran in Honduras. I'm just going to level with you, okay? I would not want to be a Honduran in Honduras. And that's why, you know, my wife and I are not going to go back there. We're going to go back. Hopefully, we're talking more and more. And she's saying, yesterday said to me, Amor, let's buy the place you want in Nicaragua instead. Well, we may do that. But the guy who runs Honduras, you know, doesn't treat Hondurans very nicely. And so that's why we haven't moved back yet, but we will. I promise you. I loved it there. You know, I didn't live there under this current president. And, you know, sooner or later, that's going to change. And it'll go back to being just, you know, a president who loves his people and treats them well. That's, you know, look, we've had presidents here who didn't seem to like us too much not that long ago. And that's the way it is now. So just so you'll know. So, but for right now, we're here. She said to me the other day, this is not the American dream I came here for. I said, Princess, no, it's not. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Trust me. I remember the American dream, so it breaks my heart even more. But so where are we now? Where are we now? And why do you need, so if you're a gringo, you move to Honduras, you know, I tell people, think about it this way. You're one of the 1%. You think the 1% live well in this country? Trust me, they live incredibly. In Honduras, as a gringo, you're one of the 1%. How's that? Try that on for size. You know, nice life if you can get it. So think about that. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Whatever. If you're living on a fixed income, let's say Social Security, a couple thousand a month, you're one of the 1%. The annual income down there's only $4,000 a year. So that's pretty nice. Pretty nice. Thank you. You like to try that on for size? I'm one of the 1%. You know, just be nice to everybody when you get to be the 1%. So, but up here now, what's it happening? What's happening? I'm advising you right now. I'm advising you. I've said this before. I want you to get yourself offshore, but I also want you to understand we're reaching a point where it's almost emergency now to get your assets offshore for two reasons. One, the inflation, they are lying to you about the inflation. You know, it is not a fraction of 1%. Go to the store, go to the gas pump. Inflation, according to the, you know, Money Map Press, could be as high as 12%. According to Williams, you know, who is one of the great economists in America, he thinks it's around 9. I think it's probably somewhere in between. And it's going to go up because they won't stop spending. I mean, they just passed this 1.9 trillion COVID relief bill. Let me get the quotes in here, which didn't relieve you. We went over that last week. But buried in it, we didn't say last week, buried in it was a $60 billion tax increase on you. on you and you and you and you. 60 billion. Tax increase. They've already said Harris was obsessive every time she talked, soon to be President Harris. Every time she talked, what'd she tell us? First thing we're going to do is repeal the Trump middle class tax cut. That's coming. That's coming. That's going to increase your taxes drastically. Okay? Drastically. Plus, they've already said we're going to increase personal income tax from the level of 32 to 57%. No, 37 to 52%. Let's stick with the facts, Carter. Think you can afford that? Think you can afford it? When they pass, and then the other night, Biden announces that, oh yeah, I'm also going to do a $3 trillion infrastructure expenditure. Where do you think the money is going to come from to pay for that? I'm going to give you a hint. Can you see your back pocket? Can you look back there? See that back pocket? It's the only place it can come from. I worked in Washington for over 40 years, as you all know. I mean, really high in politics, very high. And I'm telling you, government never made a buck in its life. There is no product. So if it wants money, it either prints it, which is skyrocketing inflation now, or it increases, it doesn't just increase, exponentially increases your taxes. And then on top of all that, they're already passing the Green New Deal, Miss Ocasio-Cortez's, thank you, $93 trillion over 10 years. That's $60,000 a year per household taxes, $60,000 a year to pay. That's how much it'll cost to pay for that. Now, are you going to get hit that hard? No, but you're going to get hit very hard. You're going to get hit very hard. When I asked her, well, how's this going to be paid for? Do you remember her response? Well, the same way Franklin Roosevelt paid for the original New Deal. He took taxes from single digit to 94% to pay for the original New Deal. Your taxes are going to be 75%. Please write that down, because I want you to say, here, write this down. Carter said this on this date, and when it happens, you'll say, I don't want you to say, I wish I had listened. I want you to get your assets in two places. One, offshore protections, okay? There's a go to nagellaw.com. Joel Nagel, best asset attorney in the country, and he has a lot of great information about offshore asset protection. The other way to protect it is the greatest investment advisor in the world, in my opinion, is Shah Gilani, Money Map Press, chief strategist and investment strategist there. And he's saying, he has a great line. He said, you're not going to be able to earn your way out of what the government has in store for you, the inflation taxation grid they're producing. So you have to invest your way out of it. And there are certain investments that are like, I call them profit protected investments. Okay. And check that out. Go to moneymappress.com and check it out. Those are the two ways right now that I'm recommending in my Mad Max report. Okay. But it is, Carter's mad. Carib Carter's mad because of Mad Max. It's not going to stop. It's going to continue. So protect yourself, protect your assets, get offshore, get your assets offshore. The other assets, put in what I call profit protected investments. Okay. And Gilani can tell you that. Okay, enough of that depressing stuff that none of us wants to hear, and we shouldn't have to hear it because there's no excuse for it. Okay, enough of that. All right, let's move on to one of my favorite parts of serving. This really is, because when I get to research this is when I start deciding where I'm going to invest my money. The money Angelita and I've set aside to invest offshore in housing. $1,000 listing Caribbean. Those of you who are new will say, wait a minute, is that anything like $1 million listing New York with Ryan Serhant? Yes, it is. I'm a big fan of Ryan. Unfortunately, I don't look like Ryan. Of course, Ryan's 40 years younger than me, I believe, or whatever, 30. I hope it's 30. At any rate, $1,000 listing Caribbean. I'm telling you where you can buy a home so inexpensive, a nice home, so inexpensively that you're going to say, I cannot believe I'm living this well for this little. I'm living big for little. I'm living big for little. Okay. So I've told you about a bunch of them so far. Let me give you one that I just found. That I think I told you about Grand Pacifica. Incredible, incredible. What would up here be a $2 million home, under 150,000 down there. The cozy homes in Belize. Okay, check those out. Check them out at ecidevelopment.com. ecidevelopment.com. Go to they call them tiny homes. They're not tiny homes. They're cozy homes. I'll tell you what, they're not tiny. They may be, let's say, 900 square feet, 800. You don't live in the house down there. You live in the great outdoors. You're in the Caribbean. You're on the beach. So check that. I've told you about those. Let me give you one now that I really like. I really like this a lot, and I think you are too. I always tell you, go to Vivian. Okay. One thing we need to make clear here. The Offshore Club, which is the sponsor of Coffee with Carib Carter, because I'm the president of the Offshore Club, we're not here to say spend money only with us. We're not here to say we're the only people you can trust. We're here to say we want to help you get offshore. Any way we can do it, we're going to do it. Okay. And so that's very important for you to understand. We're like a huge resource. We're a huge resource. And somebody, I got an email the other day. Should I listen to these people? Their name, one of the people that some people say, well, they're a competitor. They're not a competitor. They're not a competitor. It's a big pie. It's a big pie. And I said, absolutely listen to them. I know them. They're great people. Yeah. So I always tell you, go to Vivian, VIVIUN.com, VIVIUN.com, and check out homes because the prices are to die for. Please, they're to die for. So I have one for you now. I'm always specific about this. Let me pull up the paper here. This is a home. Go to Vivian. If you're at a computer now, you can follow along with me. Go to vivian.com, type in Nicaragua up in the upper right-hand corner. It's a tiny box. I don't know why they don't make it bigger. Tiny box. Type in Nicaragua. And when I looked it up earlier this morning, it was like the 12th listing down, okay? 12th listing down. Granada, Nicaragua. 2 bedrooms, 1,300 square feet. Let me read you just the paragraph about it here. When you see the pictures, I think there are like 8 or 9 pictures. You're going to say, holy mackerel, that's not only is the home gorgeous, but the area it's in, out in the beautiful countryside overlooking a lake. So here's the description. This 1,300 square foot home is perfect for someone who would like the convenience of living minutes from town with access to groceries, restaurants, coffee shops, and the hustle and bustle of downtown, but like to be able to go home to quiet and serenity and get a great night's sleep every night with nothing but the sound of crickets and songbirds. No litter, no loud music. Big kitchen, stainless steel appliances included. Clean water comes from a private well located in the Escondido Valley. Electricity bill for this home, 1,300 square feet. That's a good size, folks. 2 bedroom, gorgeous. Electricity is $10 to $40 a month. I'm sorry, I have to stop there. $10 to $40 a month is electricity. Okay, septic tank located in the backyard. All the amenities, beautiful veranda. The monthly, there's a homeowner's fee because they take care of your road work, gardening, the walking trails they keep up, the weekly garbage pickup is $110 a month. $110 a month. Okay, it's not bad. Turnkey. You ready? Up here, if I said to you, okay, up here, they're only charging for this beautiful home in the countryside, with all this, all the amenities, it's only $300,000. You say it's not too bad. The 200, if you get it for 200, it'd be even better. It's $76,000. Carter, did you just say 76,000? Yeah, I did. And then next to it, it says, let me see here, folks, negotiable. What? when I tell you I am the offshore Ryan Serhant, I am, folks. 76,000 negotiable for your Caribbean listing there. Wow, I just love it. I absolutely love that. $1,000 listing Caribbean. That's it for today. I beg you, go look at it. Go look at it. You know, if I wasn't already thinking of buying a different home in a different area of Jinotega, I would rather than Granada, I would probably say, Princess, let's take a hard look at this. This may be the best one for us. So there you go. Another thing I want to add, because I'm all, about your money, and where you might invest. There is coming up on the 16th. The 16th, there's a webinar. Two of the people who already watch on your Offshore.club vlogs, Rachel Jensen from Roving with Rachel, and Elisa from the Expat Mom are going to be on it, along with Katie, whose last name I can't remember right now. I'm embarrassed. They're going to be on it. This is a webinar that is telling you how you can invest a minimal amount of money in a teak forest in Panama or I think it's Panama or Nicaragua, I believe. Great return on investment. I think it's like almost a 9-time return on investment over a several-year period. And when you make the investment, and it's not, I think the most it's 20,000 or something. You also get residency in Panama. That's important. I'll tell you why that's important. Because if the Mad Max freaks, nuts, keep destroying this country and you want to get off, you want to be able to say, hey, I already have residency, because they'll reach a point when too many Americans flee and they can't grab enough tax dollars. Then they're going to say, shut down your border to countries like Panama and these others. Nicaragua, Ortega is going to say, I don't think so. But in Panama, if you already have residency, you're in free. It's done. It's a little safeguard. It's a safeguard. Always protect your back. Always protect your back. So this is worth looking into. It's a webinar, Tuesday, March 16th. If you go again to ecidevelopment.com, ecidevelopment.com, you can read about it there. I think it's worth watching. The hosts are fantastic people. And two of them I said you already know and you already love. They're already Offshore Club, Offshore.club, friends and family. Worth watching. Very, very, very good. Very, very good. Friends, and that brings me to the friends and family segment. Okay? Brings me to the friends and family segment. And today, I was going to interview somebody who I hope will be next week. A good friend of mine named Dan Taylor. He's lived on Roatan Island for 20 years. I think he's from one of those western states, like where they have cows and ranches, like Wyoming or Nebraska. I don't know. He was a rancher. I mean, he literally was a rancher about 20 years ago, but also career military. One of the finest. When I interview him, you're going to say, that's one of the nicest guys I ever met. Matter of fact, such a nice guy. What's he doing with Carter? Kidding you. He's a good friend of mine. And he'll tell you what it's like 20 years ago when he first moved there, what it's been like living on Roatan Island, which is Paradise Island. By the way, when I checked Vivian a little while ago, there's some good prices on Roatan Island right now. If you have a little extra money, buy now. I'm hitting the buy button. Bang, buy now. If you can buy on Roatan, prices are just going to skyrocket again. As more and more Americans, and it's going to be in the millions, realize that the American dream is now the Central American dream, and that beachfront property is bargain price right now. So, but next week we'll have him. But this week, instead of a guest, I want to pay tribute to somebody who I'm going to keep you posted on. One of the people, some of you don't know this, but I've written for, maybe a year now, a column. Some of you do know this because you've written to me about this. A column for the oldest expat website on the internet called escapeartist.com, escapeartist.com. I have a column called Escape Route, okay? Says a lot of the things I say here, by the way, a lot of the things, because I believe them. They're from my heart. And the guy who has run it ever since, for several years now, a guy named Mikhail Thorpe, and I just found out he's leaving, go out on his own, start something new. But I want to pay tribute to him because he really was a pioneer of in the expat world. He's a pioneer in the expat world. And he turned Escape Artist into a go-to site for those like you and me who know it's time to make our world. As Tennyson said, Alfred Lord Tennyson said, it's time to seek a newer world. And he pioneered it. And he took the Escape Artist and turned it into one of my favorite sites on the internet. Mikhail's moving on to other things now, bigger, better, fantastic. Whatever he does, it's going to be great. And so I want to pay tribute to him right now, say thank you, Mikhail, for all you did for all of us who have learned to love the offshore life. Okay, thank you. And I will keep all of you posted on where he goes. And now the potpourri, I always like to have a video, so I'm suggesting to you to go to, I want you to check out a video I watched, and our super producer, Brian, can put a link into it. It's about life in Uruguay. Uruguay is a pretty good life. Uruguay is really unique, folks, for those of you who don't know it. Cost of living is fantastic. And it actually was, essentially, it's like Italy in Latin America. I'm not kidding you. They speak Spanish with an Italian accent. That's a nice tomato. I can do that. I'm half Italian. I'm not making fun. My mother was born in Reggio Calabria. But that video is worth watching. Go to it's called Life in Uruguay. Okay, go to YouTube, type in Uruguay, and watch any of the. I'm going to tell another one. Somebody said, "Carter, you keep pitching competitors. They're not competitors. We're all trying to do the same thing, and that's help you get offshore." International Living has some great Uruguay videos. I think because they have someone living there who's a full time with them, and so. For the potpourri, I'm not going to show you a video, but I am going to recommend you go there and look up those Uruguay. I think some of you may end up in Uruguay. Look at the pictures of Montevideo. How can I be so bad at Spanish? Montevideo. You're good. Video. I'm going to stop trying. Okay, I'm going to stop trying. The capital. You're going to say, wait a minute, that has to be. That's Italy. That's not. No. Trust me, you're going to be shocked. You're going to be shocked. And if you move there, you're going to love it, okay? And that brings in the final segment. This is one of my favorite segments because this means so much to me. Because when it's the let's do this thing segment, all right? Because I know how difficult it is. Somebody said to me the other day, Carter, it's kind of like your Norman Vincent Peale segment. The power of positive thinking segment. And I guess in a way it is, right? Some of you are a little younger would say Robert Schuller. Some of the others would say Tony Roth. Whatever. It is positive thinking. Dean Graziosi happens to be my favorite of the bunch now. Any of you get a chance to watch Dean, he's just wonderful. He is wonderful. And man, you can tell this is a guy with a heart for you and me and everybody else out there. But let's do this thing is where I get a chance to encourage you to go ahead and make the move. And every week I post a video. Last week, I hope some of you watched it, the Rocky video, where he tells his son, life's going to knock you down, but what counts is whether you get back up and keep moving forward. Okay, now I'm going to ask you to go, and our super producer, Brian, will post the video. There's a great Michael Jordan video where he talks about the 10 things in life that made a difference in his life. And the very first one, it's when he's talking about what made him stand out from the rest. How come he became, in my opinion, the greatest basketball player in history? I'm not a basketball fan, but I like greatness. And he said, the reason is because I always ask, can we do a little more? Good question. Can we do a little more? You know, to me, the worst thing that can be said about a person is they settled for mediocrity. They settled for where they were. They settled for mediocrity. They said, let well enough alone. That's close enough. It's never close enough. It's never close enough. Okay? It's never close enough. It's Michael Jordan. Can we do a little more? And for you now, more is making that move offshore. And I don't care how old you are. I don't care how old you are, how young you are. I'm 74 years old. I'm 74 years old. My wife and I are soon going to buy the property. We're soon going to make the move again because we want to live free and breathe free. We want to do a little more. We're not ready to settle. I'm not ready at 74 to settle back and say, okay, all right, time to wait for the Grim Reaper. Let me tell you a little something, folks. I'm going to tell you a little something. Most of my friends my age, a lot of them don't know whether they're a poached egg or a potted plant, okay? And it's because they didn't ask that question. Can we do a little more? They didn't keep pushing the envelope. Push that envelope, I beg of you. Push that envelope. Go be it. One of the emails I sent you not long ago said you're pioneers to me. You're not only Carib Carter's cadre, you're pioneers. I want you to keep pioneering. I want you to keep staking your claim on life because you can do it, okay? I know you. You wouldn't be watching this now if you weren't capable of taking that next step. So I'll close the way I do every week. God bless you. God bless you. God fulfill you. And folks, let's do this thing.
And that's a wrap. Thanks for joining us at the Offshore Club. For more information on the Offshore Club or to contact Carib Carter, visit www.offshore.club today. www.offshore.club. That's www.offshore.club. See you next time at the Offshore Club.